Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rockstar direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I'm your host, your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger, helping you whip your business into shape. And I have a really interesting guest with us today. Erica Rogers was introduced to me. I know, my badass crew, you're going to be so surprised when you hear this. Somebody in BNI introduced me to Erica. And we're giggling because you all know that a lot of my introductions come through my networking that I do. And what's really fun is the gentleman who introduced me to Erica was like, hey, you two should talk, right? Because she's doing an online business and you'd help people with online business. You two should talk. And I went into this not knowing what to expect when I met Erica. And by the time I came out of it, I was like, oh, we're going to work together. This is amazing. So let me tell you guys about why I'm bringing Erica to you. So Erica has a background in theater, event management, and marketing. And along the way, she discovered a passion for graphic design, and it quickly became clear that she's happiest when she's creating. So now she's combined all of these skills with a mission to inspire others to find joy and tap into their own creativity, whether it's through design, storytelling, or creative prompts. She believes in the transformative power of creativity to help people reconnect with themselves and find fulfillment. So, Erica Rogers, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jennie. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my gosh. I know, because when you and I met, so she lives in the St. Louis area. My badass crew knows that I live in the St. Louis area. And so when we got introduced, you and I met in person first. And I walked in, and as soon as I saw your skull earrings, I was like,
yes,
oh, this is going to be a great conversation. I got really happy because I was like, all right, we're golden.
Well, yeah. And when I saw your purple hair and I used to have purple hair and I miss it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's enchantment at first sight. And I use that word on purpose because so Erica's business is called Enchanted Papier. So in your introduction, I talked about your varied background. Give us the in a nutshell version. How did you get from, where you are into where you are today doing what you're doing, and explain what it is you're doing as well?
Okay, so how I got into what I'm doing, which is creating journals and workbooks that really encourage self-expression as a way to unlock that potential to be your best self in business and in life. So, and how I got there was, like you said, I have a theater background, and I was fortunate enough to be able to use that theater background. I worked for a youth performing arts nonprofit. They still do fantastic things, but in a nonprofit, you wear many, many hats. Yeah. And I got burnt out, to be completely honest. I got burnt out. I was fortunate enough to be there during COVID because a lot of theater people didn't have jobs during COVID. I was fortunate enough to have mine. So, but I guess it was 2022, maybe fall 2022. Yeah. I was just burnt out, and I always dreamed about being an entrepreneur. Actually, me and my husband both did. And when I looked back on the parts I really enjoyed about that job was when I got to do social media posts and create and help with graphic designing. And so I decided to take the leap and open my own marketing and graphic design business, but my headspace was not there. I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't realize until I reflected back on it, what state I was in. But I knew I wanted to do graphic design. And I'm like, I got to start with the basics. I got to go take some art classes. I got to go learn to draw. Just not to be a perfect at drawing, but,
Right.
be able to get that perspective. And that's when I really started to heal, is when I started taking art classes, and I'm like, okay, how do I encourage other people to do this? Well, the
Yeah.
easiest way is journals, because it's just writing your ideas down in a book. I mean, and you can do that in doodling and writing. I mean, that's all a way of being creative. And it's so simple. Just grab a notebook. I say it's simple, but there's a lot of hangups people get about when you say, just be creative. They're like, well, what does that mean? So
Right.
that's where I kind of come in with my products. I'm like, well, I offer guided experiences and being creative with my
Oh,
journaling
yeah.
products and affirmation decks, all that kind of stuff. So that's where
Yeah.
I'm at right now.
Yeah. So
That's
what you're
how,
creating, and this is why, the way that Derek explained it to me when he introduced us was she does like stationery or something.
well, I mean, it kind of is. It is
Yeah,
just
it could
stationary.
be. Yeah.
It could
It's
be.
paper
Yes.
stuff. It could, but
It's
I think
paper
I think
stuff.
he literally meant like designing things on paper. I don't think
which I do that too.
right. Yes, and right. And
And
so when you and I got to meet, you brought some of the things that you do and have created for your Etsy store. And that for me was the aha moment, because for a long time because I'm one of those people that you talk about when you're like, yeah, just grab a notebook and create, like get a sketchbook or a notebook and just start creating, right? Or if somebody says, well, if you can't do it on paper, just open up Google Doc and just start typing and getting stuff out. And I'm like, I open it up and I see that blank. My brain also goes blank,
right,
And
right.
but if you give me that little prompt, if you give me that little thing, I can go ahead and like get the process started. And once I get started, it'll keep going and it'll go in the direction it needs to go, kind of thing. So I definitely am that person who falls within that, because, I saw one of your specific products and went, I need that. Like, can I buy that off of you right now?
Of course. I always carry them with me.
Right. And so it was this opportunity to be able to see what that is, right? And really begin to do that. And so, so you discovered this love for wanting to do this. So you've now created an Etsy store. What are some of the obstacles you encountered in that process, going along from, okay, I want to do graphic design. Here's how I want to use graphic design, because there's so many different things you could do with graphic design. But
Right.
here's how I want to use it to help other people. And then the process of like starting an Etsy store.
So I'm a forever student. So I did research, YouTube University, man. It's a bit.
Amen, sister.
Yes. So I started doing research in that. And actually what was interesting is Etsy has kind of its own SEO to it.
Yeah.
So you have to learn that. And there's so many people on Etsy. So that's the obstacle to try to get over. And I kind of got run down by that. And the only thing with Etsy that I didn't feel like I had my own real estate on the internet. So like if Etsy were to shut down, I shut down. So I went to Shopify for a little bit, and I don't want to knock Shopify. It's fantastic. But when you have your own website like that, you have to do all your own marketing. So,
yeah.
And I wasn't getting like any hits. Like people reviewing it, but people weren't buying. So I'm like, and there are other things coming with that too. That's why I'm like back at Etsy, because there's that built-in marketing. And
right.
Etsy does have their own website platform that gave me everything I needed for my business and to complete my mission, because they use Pattern, which is like, I guess Wix is like the best thing to compare it to if people are used to that. They have Pattern. So you build your own website. And what's really nice is so everything's powered by Etsy, but it's your space. Now there's some limitations.
Right.
And maybe eventually I'll go back to like Shopify or something like that so I can build out. But right now, as a beginner, like it's perfect. And the other thing is it does my taxes for me when I do sales. So I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
there's just a lot of things as a solopreneur, like that it does for me that I can streamline. And
Right.
so I saw a lot of obstacles in the beginning, but you have to like look at the good too. Like, yeah, they take out fees and stuff, but they're also working for you because they want to make money too, right?
Yeah.
So,
If they don't make money, you don't have a platform anymore. You don't
right,
have that audience anymore. So
right. So, I mean,
it's a symbiotic relationship as it should be, right?
yeah.
Because they're
And so,
providing the things you can't do yet
yes,
or have no desire to ever do, right?
right. Well, and like, I do have a tax accountant and they're wonderful, but getting the reports together and everything, now that I'm going back through Etsy, it's so much easier because they gather all that for me.
Yeah.
They're so user friendly. So I kind of like stray away from the original question of like,
No,
what's been the obstacles? But it's
but
kind
that
of taking the
is,
good with the bad.
but we're talking about the obstacles, right? And the connection I just made between what you're doing with Etsy and network marketing, because of course, direct sellers, network marketers, multi-level marketers are vast majority of my audience. They're in the same boat, right? They
Yes.
are selling a product through a company that has certain boundaries, limitations, but also they're providing things that this person wouldn't, maybe doesn't have the desire to do or go through. Because if they want to help people, right, which is your
Right.
desire to help people be more creative, have some self-expression and be able to take that and turn that into a better business, a better life, a better relationship, whatever it may be, right? So for network marketers, they have a desire for the same thing. They want to help people with their health. They want to help people with their skincare. They want to help people with their outer appearance, right? Their jewelry, their clothing, whatever the product is, right?
Right.
But then the company that they're working with is very similar to like your Etsy thing, right? The company is providing all the structure and the things that they can do with it. So I'm just trying to help make the connection because I think the audience is probably like, why is she having an Etsy person on? I'm not selling Etsy. Well, you, the listener, may not be an Etsy person, but there are things we can learn from Erica because of the parallels between
Right.
network marketing and Etsy, because network marketers do have limitations with what they can do with the website provided by the company. There are limitations of things they can say or do that are provided by the US government or the government of the country that they're in, right? Like all kinds of parallels there. So I just wanted to help people make that connection if they haven't already made that bridge between why an Etsy person would be on the show
Right.
and a network marketer. So you have encountered the obstacles of those limitations and also turn them into the benefit of, well, look, I don't want to go to the SEO on all of this stuff. And Etsy they have the audience. People know that if you want to support a local artist, and local being whatever somebody's definition is for that, right? But an artist instead of a massive, massive company, like going and buying. Can you go buy a journal at Target or Walmart? Yep. Do you feel the same in buying that journal there as when you buy a journal from someone like Erica on Etsy, right? And there are some people who really want that feeling.
Yeah. Well, and it's the thing of buying from a small business. That small business is going to remember you.
Right.
Like there's a thing I always see, like when, because I'm part of this like crafting small business Facebook groups. It's like when you buy from a small person, another person is actually doing a happy dance. When you like, they know, like,
right. When you go through self checkout at Target or Walmart, the owners are not, yay, Jennie Bellinger came through and bought toilet paper. No, they're not. But yeah, but Erica does a little happy dance when somebody purchases, right? And the same is true for network marketers. We do a little happy dance when somebody buys our jewelry, shake, whatever, because we're like, yay, we get to help somebody and they helped us. It's this mutual symbiotic relationship, right? So fantastic. Oh my gosh, I love that. So are there any other obstacles that you've gone through in this building of your business? Because you've been doing the Etsy business for about 2 years now. Anything else come to mind on the obstacle side?
It's not getting distracted by the shiny. And I mean that in the way of new ideas and money. And I mean, I think I'm going to focus more on the money because I think so many people, when I say with entrepreneurs, like, because we're idea people, right?
Yeah.
Like, we want to do this and want to do that. But with the money side, I'm now reading Ninja Selling.
Oh, okay.
And one of the lessons I learned from that is start looking at how many people I'm serving rather than the money coming in. Because I was so motivated by the fear of not making money, the shiny. And now I'm looking at the actual like people in service. And that's my goal, is to hit so many people per month, whether it's just talking to them about it or actually partnering with them on
Right.
a project, because I'm offering my graphic design services too. And since I've taken that mindset, it's been ridiculous what's coming in.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
it is kind of mind blowing what's coming in down the pipeline right now.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I'm glad I learned that lesson. I just wish, you always wish you would have learned it sooner.
right. But you learned it at the right time, though. I mean,
Yeah,
this is when you needed to learn that lesson, right?
right.
And I talk about that with a lot of my network marketing coaching clients when we're discussing the money versus business versus people you serve, right? Because a lot of companies and leaders in network marketing will talk about, look at how much money you can make. And based on the research that I've done, 87% of network marketers are not driven by money. It's not a motivator
Right.
for them for one reason or another, whatever that is. It's not their motivator, their primary motivator, right? It's not even their secondary. In fact, for most of those 87%, money is the second to last or lowest motivator in their list of motivators,
Right.
right? And I find that to be true for a lot of entrepreneurs. But what does motivate a vast majority of network marketers, and probably a lot of, especially someone like you, is who they're going to help. They have a very high altruistic motivator, right?
Right.
So by, yes, tracking client number, customer number, and who is that customer, not just the order number comes through in the email, but instead of it being order number 57238,
Right.
but that
It's,
order number is associated with Jennie Bellinger. Who's this customer who just bought from me? Now you can reach out to her and yes. Oh my God, I'm doing a happy dance because you just bought this.
yeah.
What made you want to buy it? How can I help support you in using this every day? And blah, 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 right? But the money is the numerical metric that shows that you helped somebody,
Yes.
right? It's that
Yes.
connection.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, okay, so my brain is trying to go 7 different ways all at the same time because I didn't take my lion's mane this morning.
Oh,
So I think that is a big connection there in that obstacle, in that mindset shift over, right? Of stop chasing the money, stop chasing the ooh shiny, because that's
yeah.
literally been my message for today in the past few weeks of my life. Looking at my business for this year has been, I was chasing a new shiny for the first 6-7 months of the year. And we're recording this mid-November. And so once I figured out, oh, I'm going in the wrong direction, I need to go back to what I've been doing before, what works before. It sounds like luckily you're at the beginning of yours and you're like, no, this is what I'm looking to do. This is who I'm looking to serve. You've
Right.
got that idea. So yes, please keep that lesson in mind for yourself, Erica. Don't chase the ooh shinies. That's an important piece. So
Yeah. Well,
as
and it's like, if you don't get distracted, then you can hone in on who you are for your brand, right? Because
yes,
I want to be known as a journal lady, and someone who did not, who I've just gotten to know through a marketing group, networking group, they were like, yeah, they're a business coach. And we were just talking. He's like, yeah, you really need to hone in and just be known as a journal lady. I'm like, that's funny you say that because we are on the same wavelength. Because I just said that to somebody else. I'm like, I want to be known for my journaling products. I don't need all these stickers and gift boxes, which I do currently sell because I'm just trying to get rid of them. So,
right. Yeah.
but that's not what I want to be known for. Those are just extra,
Yeah, that's icing on the cake if you sell that,
Yeah.
right? It's the gravy, it's not the meal.
Right.
And so, no, that makes perfect sense. And so, really honing in on what is your desire, what is your purpose? And I mean that with a capital P, right? And for you, I mean, you brought it out in your intro, which is the transformative power of creativity. right? That's huge. That
Yeah.
helping people get to their best selves through being creative. And for you, that shows up as giving them a journal that guides them through that process.
Yes. And what's been tricky is for a lot of people is showing the value in that. And part of that is because I think for me personally, I just need to find my market because people who already value that,
Right.
or at least value personal growth and understand how powerful mindset is and a positive shift in mindset could be, get that. Where was I going with this? But it's been an obstacle to have people who don't quite get it yet understand how powerful creativity is because
Right.
they're like, but I'm not a creative person. I'm like, creativity is a form of play. If you played as a kid,
Yeah.
you can be creative. And there's a logical side to creativity as well. There's no such thing as left side, right side. But anyway, that's a spiel for another day. We can do a whole episode on that.
I'm sure we could. But I think you're exactly right. It's finding the people. And again, this is to help the audience make that connection, right? Because again, I'm sure they're like, why are you having on an Etsy person, right? In addition to the parallel between the platforms, right? But now it's the importance of people's not trying to sell to everybody.
Yes.
Right. Because yes, in theory, anybody could buy your journals. Right. But it's a waste of money for somebody who isn't ready to take that journey with themselves. Right. So to use myself as a true example of an ideal customer for you in multiple ways. Right. Firstly, you and I met. I saw one of your journal and card decks, prompting decks, and went, have this personally. Right. I need this for myself because I made 2 goals for myself at the beginning of this year, 2024, which was to become more financially educated on how to manage my own finances, how to grow my business's finances, how to do all these things. So I've been working through that this year and working on my financial mindset. But the other one has been getting better at identifying my own emotions. Right. Because I can read other people, no problem. Where I struggle is figuring out what am I feeling? Because when I'm the aha I've come to in the entire year it's taken me to figure this out is that I read other people so well because I have all the context clues. Right? I can see their body language, their face. I can hear the tone in their voice, take the words that they're saying and be able to say, oh, that person is excited. That person is depressed. That person is like, I can put the label on the emotion of what I believe that they're feeling based on my definition of that emotion. Right. But I don't know what they feel like. Right. And so for me, that's all I have to go on is my feelings and my actions and things that are very different because I can't see my body language. I can't hear my tone necessarily, right? Because it's me, And so sitting with your journal and seeing your journal made me go, oh my God, I need this. This is right. It's finding those people who have made that decision for themselves that they need to be better at for that particular set, for example.
Right.
Because you have a variety of sets, right? But for that set, it's the people who want to get in better touch with their emotions. Right? At least that was my goal for that particular set that I purchased.
Yeah, and that's exactly the purpose. So I'm glad it
Yay, right?
Yay. So it's nice to see something like that its purpose is being met, that other people get it. And that's the biggest part of like why I'm not a great listener, Jennie. I'm just going to admit it. I'm not a great listener, but I'm working on it. I'm very well, sometimes my anxiety gets, in my head and I want to answer to show that I'm paying attention and then I lose track. But being an entrepreneur, like I've forced myself to learn to listen.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at it. And that's what prompted. So I sell the journaling set, but like, I think with the network marketing, I think where I come into play, like Etsy is my platform, right? That I sell off of. But I also am a graphic designer who will work with coaches. I would like to work with yoga and fitness instructors too, but life coaches, any teachers, therapists who want to create their own product.
Right.
And that's where I come in. And that's where I've had to go into networking because people work with people they trust. And so I got to sell myself. So yes, my graphic design are listed, our design services are listed on my website, but my business has all come from people I've had conversations with.
Right. Exactly. And that's, because that's where I also said you and I'm your ideal client in two different ways, right? First of all, I'm the person who wants to get in touch with my emotions. And so I've been using your prompts and journals to do that. Then the second thing is you and I are working together so that we can create something for my audience to help them have that transformation. Now, Badass Crew, I'm going to tell you now, it's not done. So I have nothing to officially announce. This is literally just Erica and I went, oh my God, we have a podcast episode to talk about the business side of, obstacles and challenges. And I already have felt like 3 different times when parts of my audience or certain people in my audience have had aha moments. I've literally felt like, oh, they had their aha moment, which I love. That's the coolest thing ever.
Oh, good.
So trust me, there are people who are like, oh, that's my problem. I've been chasing the U shiny, or, oh, that's my problem. I've been going after money and money's not a motivator for me. So I need to be tracking who I'm helping. And, oh, I need to be really mindful of who my ideal client is. And you've got that figured out, right? On both sides, or it sounds like you're getting to the point of super clarification, right? And so you and I are working together because I've wanted a physical product in my business for a while. I didn't know what it was, what it looked like, anything like that until I sat down with you, saw what you were offering, and went, would you design for me?
And the answer was yes.
Right?
Because it was a big motivator. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have ideas because I know the places where network marketers struggle, right? There's 3 places. That's it. And yes, they niche down into even further, more, super hyper focused problems. But the overarching 3 problems, I know what they are: sales, recruiting, leadership, right?
Right.
So we have the opportunity to go in any of those directions. So, Badass Crew, I would love your feedback to know, Eric and I work together. We create a card deck with prompts, journal prompts, and a journal that guides you through how to think through that card prompt, the questions to answer around the card prompt. This is really what Erica does, right? Do you want to know about sales? Do you want help thinking around clarifying sales, customer, all of that? Do you want recruiting? Is that your biggest issue? What's that? Or is leadership your biggest issue? So I want to know, because that'll help us create those products in the order that you guys want them. But I won't know what that is until you tell me. So reach out to me, Jennie at badassdirectsalesmastery.com. Say that you listened to the episode with Erica Rogers, and tell me the order that you would love to see those journals come out, because I want to help people with those areas when I can't be there to coach them all the time, because whatever. So I'm super excited to announce that, yes, Erica and I are working together, but we don't know which one we're doing first yet. So would love your feedback. So please, 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 Badass Crew, reach out and tell me. Jennie, Jennie, you guys should hopefully know that now by looking at my episode art every week, at badassdirectsalesmastery.com, and let me know which journal you want in what order. Like sales, recruiting, leadership. Those are the 3. Tell me what order you want them in, and we'll take a look at what the majority says and we'll do it in that order. But just letting you guys know. So, oh my gosh, it's been a little more than half an hour. So you probably want to let people. Yeah, it's not just you. I was talking a lot too. But again, the Facebook meme is, who talks too much on their report card every year? Me. Raise my hand. For those of you who are listening, we both raised our hands. Right. And what do you do for a living? And I'm a podcaster.
Right.
Podcaster, coach, and trader. Right. I mean, come on. So they all involve talking. It's great. I've fallen into the thing that I'm good at, which is talking and helping people. And like you said, part of that is listening. So I have to listen to the audience to know which direction we're going for this thing. So Erica, thank you for being here. And we're going to bring you back when it's time for us to announce which journal set we're doing first so that we can help people in their business and life. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. And yeah, now you said it, we were held accountable. So we got to do it.
Right? Exactly. So I'm so excited. And oh my gosh, it's just, I can see how many lives and businesses we're going to impact with this. And that motivates me to get this done. Right. And it really is about how we can help people and what we can do with that. And yeah, I'm just super excited about this. And so, Derek, you know who you are. Thank you for this introduction.
Yeah, thanks, Derek.
Because this ripple effect is going to go out for years. And I am so excited about it. So, Erica, again, thank you for being here and sharing your story, your brilliance with the audience, because there were people who had aha moments. And I hope that they reach out to you, which, speaking of, how can they get a hold of you if they want to know more, or maybe they want to check out your Etsy store? How do they find you?
So you can visit my website, enchantedpapier.com. So papier is Papier. So that's one of the ways to get a hold of me. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram at enchantedpapier.com. I mean, Enchanted Papier.
Right.
Sorry.
Yep.
And so those are probably the best ways to get a hold of me. There's a contact form on my website.
Awesome.
Then I'll receive all those messages.
Love that. So yes, of course, as my badass crew knows, we're going to have all of those links down in the show notes or episode notes. So if you want to get a hold of Erica through social media, Facebook, Instagram, or you want to go check out her Etsy store, we're going to have that link in the show notes for you. And if you go check out her Etsy store, and if there's anything you totally fall in love with, guess what? She's offering you a 10% off as a badass listener of the episode. So use coupon code CREATE10 at her Etsy store to get 10% off. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you want to get better identifying your own emotions. Go get the same journal set that I got. It's fantastic. I've been already using it and it's helping me. It really helped me on days when I was like, okay, what's that feeling? What am I doing with it? How am I going to use this? I loved it. It was fantastic. So Erica, thank you again for being here. You're awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. And of course, badass crew, you know how this goes. Stay tuned because there's another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.